Shawty, you can't lie.
Yes, sir. Come on. Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon. And once again, we're here on 910 Sports TV. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank God for this opportunity because without him, there'll be no us. You know what I'm saying? Next, I got my right-hand man to me. Hey, this got to be the most traveling man I've ever seen in my life. Every time I turn around, boy, he's somewhere on the other side of the globe somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I got got the coach himself, Coach Lamont Goins. How you doing, brother?
Hey, listen, man, it's another great Saturday night back in the Commonwealth of Virginia, on with the two best guys in the business, and just God's blessing on me and the fam as we did a couple weeks out, in and out, but it's great to be back on with you brothers as always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then I got my other guy, you know what I'm saying? Cowboys' biggest fan, baby mama favorite host. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we got Jacob the Great. What's going on, brother?
Hey man, happy Saturday, everybody, man. Glad to be in the land of the living, man. Another day to get it right. But hey, boy, like you stated, boy, Coach going to be traveling, man. He got one of them Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, and Barack Obama Express cards.
You know, I know, right? Hey, you know what? I think I'm having a midlife crisis, fellas. I don't know what's going on with me. I done went crazy on all these jerseys, and it was crazy because I just ordered a Charles Barkley jersey. And I messed around and double ordered, so I ended up with two shirts. I don't know how I did that. But hey, I was like, boy, I'm going crazy. I said, let me slow down these jerseys, man. I done ordered about 10 jerseys or something.
Hey man, who then told you once you get out of that truck they're gonna put you on the black top as a new point guard? You know, I mean, you know, man, you ain't tell me, you know, what I mean, about the Southern Fine Bearcats. What your new point guard?
I don't know. I must be trying to do something. I don't know what I'm doing because, like I said, man, I done ordered so many jerseys. Okay, so I had LeBron high school jersey. I got Lynn Bias. I got Shea. I got SGA jersey. I just ordered the Barkley. I ordered the Magic Johnson USA jersey. I had the Spurs jersey, the Wemby, but it tore on me. So it ripped on me. I was mad about that. So the material on that was real thin. And so, you know what I mean? And then I got this Jalen Brunson. So I've been running the Knicks fans all day, all day about, you know, every time, oh, New York. And I'm like, I'm not New York, man. I just like Brunson. You know what I'm saying? So I got one more jersey I'm gonna order, and we about to talk about him real here in a minute. And that's gonna be that Caleb Wilson. Soon as that one come out, I'm definitely gotta get that.
Hold on, I can. Ain't no way you can be from the state of North Carolina and not have a Michael Jordan powder blue jersey, man. What is going zone, man?
Man, because first of all, I like to be different. You know what I'm saying? Just like when we was in school and everybody used to wear Jordans, and I would go against the grain and get something else because I want people to talk about what I got on. If everybody got on the same patent leather 11s, then ain't nothing to talk about. So everybody can wear a Jordan jersey. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. And when I run into people of all ages when they see me with my Lynn Bias jersey on, or they see me with my you know, my AI or my LeBron, and they gotta make comments. That's a conversation starter. The Jordan jersey is not a conversation starter.
Hey man, but even if you didn't have the Jordan jersey, man, it's a few people you could have had. Stackhouse, you could have had Carter. You could.
They don't sell them. When I go look for them, they don't sell them. They might sell. When I go look up, unless I maybe go to the actual website, and I ain't paying that kind of money. If you got to actually go to the Carolina website, I ain't paying that kind of money. You know, for nobody jerseys. So most time if you do Vince Carter, it's Toronto. You know what I'm saying? It's a Toronto jersey. It's not actual. If I find that one, you know what I'm saying. But I do want to get a Vince Carter Stackhouse. I ain't never seen no Stackhouse jersey. So you gotta tell me where them at. I ain't never seen one of those. You know what I'm saying? So that's new to me. But I know they're gonna come out with a Caleb Wilson Chicago Bulls jersey. Because I was trying to see if they're gonna come out with a Tar Heel jersey. They never did. So hopefully they'll come out with at least a Chicago Bulls jersey. So hey. Anyway, we go ahead and get started. So I guess the first topic of the night is gonna be this summer league. And I ain't gonna lie, the top four guys showed up and showed out this week. You know what I'm saying? But our guy, Caleb Wilson, you know what I'm saying? He put on a show last night. And this is what I was telling Jacob earlier. I said, it wasn't just about the fact that he put up 35 points, it's the way he did it. Because in college, he didn't really show the range to be able to shoot threes. So what that's telling me is either Hubert Davis wasn't encouraging it, or two, he was putting a lot of time in the gym to get himself, because if you watched it, he was shooting like contested threes. There wasn't wide open threes. Some of them, I mean, he was shooting step backs and, you know, shooting over guys and all kind of stuff. So you could tell the confidence in to be able to take that shot was there. Now, the only problem I see with that, it could be a problem, is if he fall in love with it too much, sort of like Ant Edwards. And Edwards, you know, started falling in love, you know, too much with his three-point game and less on his athleticism. So I want Caleb Wilson to, you know, use it, especially when we get to the real deal, to kind of like be more strategic about when he, you know, shoots that three. So what did you see if you had a chance to watch it?
Oh, absolutely. We were talking about that before we flew back this morning. Here's the thing that I was encouraged with. Number one, and I know we talked about this prior, he should have been number one. However, he went where he went. But what I loved about the highlights that I witnessed was no hesitation when they kicked it to him. Now, when you feeling it, you feel it, and then and kind of just piggybacking off what you just said, Iconic, is when they fly out the guard him, now he can show and go, right? So he's knocking it down, and when he's not knocking it down, he has the athleticism to put it on the deck and then go to the cup. And then he's got a motor, right? He's got a motor on both ends of the floor. Didn't give up on that steal. Even the guy came down, kind of pushed off and went and put it up on there, and he went and got it and took it to the glass. And so it just outstanding job by him, but it just shows the work that he's put in since he's been out of Chapel Hill. And I know one of the gentlemen I was traveling with this morning said, he said, if he would have played in the NCAA tournament, Hubert Davis would still be in Chapel Hill, right? Another conversation, another story, but just great job by Caleb. Just tremendous motor, great uptick, and just excited to see. And make sure you get that jersey. Matter of fact, get two of them, get a home and away. I think you'll look good in both of them.
You sound like Jacob. Well, Jacob said, "Yeah, I know when they come out, you gonna try to get the black and the white one." Yeah. So what's your thoughts on it, Jake?
Hey man, I think, man, I ain't surprised, bro. I know he had more in the bag, but I know with the type of offense that North Carolina ran, he just couldn't showcase it, man, because they needed him going to the cup. They needed him down low shooting that little 17-footer. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, his 3-pointer is gonna be something to see, man. Because he was in, and then not only that, man, the way he was taking them two couple dribbles and then yamming that thing like Dominique, and then when they thought they was getting away from Caleb come and pin that thing to the backboard like the man himself, MJ. As Bird say, God and Jim shorts. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be something to see how he's gonna bring that basketball culture back to Chicago, and they got Norman Powell too. And so yeah, bro, you know what I mean? It's gonna be something.
And I'm gonna say this, and this is just what my own eyes, what I was watching. So the Bonza went against Peterson, and Caleb went against Boozer. I felt like the Bonza and I felt like Caleb Wilson took it more personal in the way they played. You know what I'm saying? I felt like Peterson kind of was just out there, just playing whatever, like Jacob called it, pickup ball. And Boozer, I just think he got limited skills. He's like his dad. They great at what they do as far as defending and rebounding a little bit and doing some of the dirty work, but they're never going to be the best player on a championship team. No. You know what I mean? I just don't see that. I may be wrong, but I don't see like last year I was wrong about Cooper Flagg, but you could see the athleticism, you could see the different things he could do. You know what I'm saying? Boozer just seems more limited to me in what his overall skill set. Like when I watched Caleb Wilson even in college, the 2 times he played against Boozer, he outplayed him in college and then last night. even though they lost. But at the same time, he makes difficult shots. Like he can make turnaround Jays with a man in his face. He doesn't have to be open to get to his point where he wants to get on the court. I mean, and he's very competitive. Like you said, he ran from one end of the court after that steal and came down and did the LeBron block, you know what I'm saying, on that guy. And that's just that competitive. And like Jacob said, he watched his interviews and he talked about how he wanted to be better than Jordan, you know what I'm saying, and all that. And most players not coming out saying that type of thing. So, he might get getting backlash because, you trying to be better than the GOAT? Yeah, he should want to be better than the GOAT.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? He should want to be better than whoever the greatest of all. I don't care if it's Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, whoever. He should want to be the best player to ever play the game if you really were taking yourself seriously. You know what I'm saying? I don't like when people say that somebody shouldn't say that. You should say it. Whether you accomplish it or not, that's one other thing. But there's nothing wrong with saying I want to be better than those guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cause I can tell you now, I'm a better commentator. Stephen A. Smith, Acho, Paul Pierce, all of them. Compared to our show, they trash. Like, yeah, I said it. So yeah, they trash.
Hey, that's the way you feel. Hey, you know what? I'm glad you said that. Speaking of which, I don't know if y'all seen the beef with Stephen A., Jamel Hill, and Draymond Green. So basically, Draymond Green and Jamel Hill was on a show together. I think it was on Draymond Green's podcast, and they was basically talking about how Stephen A. journalism is not really journalism because journalism requires you to be in the locker room, and Stephen A. hasn't been in the locker room in years. And most of his journalism now is based off of opinion and based off of personal vendettas. It's not based in fact or really him like actually doing his homework when he discusses different players. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And then of course, Stephen A., acting like he WWE, comes back on people and with that up and down. 1 minute he's doing the slow, the low voice, heavy voice, and the next minute it's the hyper voice. I don't know what he be doing. I think he be practicing in the mirror how he want to talk before he get on camera. But
it's funny you say that, man, because I do have I have to agree with Draymond and Jamel because I don't know what possessed them to put Stephen A. Smith chicken forehead on College Game Day. But he ain't know none of the players. He ain't know what high school they came from. He ain't know if they was 4-star or 5-star coming out of high school. He ain't know nothing about them college boys, man. I was like, why would you have Stephen A. Smith on College Game Day, man? Who did this?
Remember they had him on the the NFL draft last year, and it was a debacle, and they said they'd never do that again. And all the commentators was talking about how bad he was because he didn't know none of the players coming out the draft, and then he had to come back and say that's not his thing or whatever. So why'd you come? Like basically, he had the right to tell ESPN that he didn't want to do it, but he kind of like volunteered himself to do it when he know he wasn't equipped and educated enough to be a part of the NFL draft commentating.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I think that's where he has to have that transparency to be able to go, and I get it. It may be in his contract that he's got to be on XYZ, but overall it hurts the show because when he gets up there and he can't exit and know it. And again, his thing is not to be in the locker room. I mean, his whole, how do I call it? His whole branding is to be that argumentative guy, right? Is to set it up that way and be the voice of controversy because that's just what makes him who he is.
Well, before we move on to a topic, I know y'all may have one. Shout out to our partners, 810 Studios, the Roku channel, also DJs United Radio.com, and one of our other radio affiliates. I'm messing all that. It's Hip Hop Radio. Yeah, I'm all dyslexic over here tonight. So yeah, shout out to them, them 4 affiliates, man, and partners or whatever, and subscribe to us on 910 SNE on our YouTube page. So Lamont or Coach Goins, you got a topic you want to jump on?
Yeah. This is kind of going kind of against the grain, but it is kind of sports related. And the young man out of South Carolina, that kind of turned up missing, 4th of July weekend. And it's a sad day in the country when you go out, and I just say if the three of us went on a fishing expedition and something happens, and then we come back and then we just can't be honest and truthful and say, hey, I've got this going on, and it's just a sad state of affairs. And not trying to make it a racial thing, but the young man was African American. He was with the Caucasian people on the island, and nobody knows nothing. And it's just like, what a sad day, man. And it's just like, and then everybody that was there, everybody lawyers up, and then now it just doesn't, it just doesn't give you a good feel, because if they at one point in time they had to be friends to go on this excursion, but when they get there and things go south or something happens, and then now everybody is like looking and ducking, and I know he was a ball player, not just saying that, but just appreciate the support. From, I know Colin Kaepernick has got his hands in it, and also Tyler Perry, but just a tragedy in the young man's life, and the family suffering, and it's just going to affect so many other people, and it doesn't look good because it's out of Mississippi, so just I just tossed that out, and that's been on my mind probably last couple of days, and just kind of being down in the New Orleans area, and of course it's front page down there all day long, so that's just if you guys got anything on that.
Well,
Me myself, man. I'm gonna say this because this hit home for me. 31 years ago, my brother had a close friend by the name of Bobby Abney, and Bobby went swimming with his friends, and most of them were white. And Bobby didn't come back to us. And this happened 31 years ago in Saluda, South Carolina, my hometown. At the community, at the community pool. You know what I mean? And
Wow.
so, when I seen this right here, man, I said, man, this right here hit home, and he was an athlete, straight A student, real likable, worked in the church, and at 31 years, after 31 years, we still don't have no answers. So my heart go out to Nolan family, man, and to his mother, his father, all his loved ones, and his relatives and his close friends. So I mean, it's awful, man, that after all the conversations I've had with my grandparents about how it was then, here we are in 2026, and it's still the same way. Just like the young lady that traveled down from Mississippi to Miami during 4th of July weekend, they found her somewhere hanging from a tree in Florida, and there's no answers. You know what I mean? So it's still happening, and it's happening in real time. I would like to say, yeah, maybe people have grown to get better jobs and make a better living now, but when it comes to the black and white thing, it hasn't changed at all. You know what I mean? They try to hide it, they try to do it indirectly, but it's still out there, especially since we got the phones with the camera on them now. Everything is out there on Front Street. Some before the cameras, they can kind of hide and brush it under the rug or whatnot, but everything is out there on Front Street now. And so it seems like instead of getting better, it's taking a dive back, 200 years ago, and it's getting worse and worse.
Well, I'm gonna say this. When it comes, I'm gonna say this because we still, it's a story. We still gotta find out what really happened and let them do their investigations and all that kind of stuff. And I watch, and Coach, you may not know this, but Jacob knows this. I watch a lot of what you call the true crime shows. So I watch every type of murder case there is, from wife to husband to whatever it could be, girlfriend, boyfriend, serial killers, all of it. And so the one thing a lot of times when we gotta see is like, what was the relationship with this young man with these three guys? Now let's put in the perspective of all these kids are young. let's just say something did happen to the young man on an accident, and like let's say it was an accident. He died in an accident, and these young people panicked, and they ended up either maybe doing something with the body or leaving the body, and now they gotta go. You like I said, they had to go lawyer up because they come from great homes and they don't want to, because a lot of times, you know how this goes. They go back and tell their parents what happened, and their parents as doctors and lawyers, they don't want, you know, their information out. So now you shut up, we get you a lawyer, we go from there. You feel what I'm saying? So so it may not, I don't want to say necessarily it's a racist thing in this situation yet. It could have just been a bad situation that they made worse. Because that's why I see a lot of times when these crazy cases I watch it'll be something that happened by accident, and then the person who committed the accident does something to make it worse, like hide the body, or like I seen this one case one time where it was these five kids. One of them like a teenager, the 3 or 4 was like maybe 18, 19. The oldest I think was like 24, 25. And they accused this young lady, they all was black. They accused the one young lady of stealing money. The one guy, they got her back to the house and they beat her up. But I think they like beat her up so bad that she ended up dying, but they didn't mean to kill her. You know what I mean? They were just trying to teach her a lesson or whatever, or, you know, and then what happened from there, they ended up cutting up the body. Like they ended up putting the body in the tub and cutting the body up instead of like, you know, doing like maybe turning themselves in or saying it was an accident or whatever it was. They end up making the situation worse than what it was. You know what I'm saying? That they already did. So I don't want to say and it could be exactly what Jacob said. It could be a racial situation, but I'm just saying right now, until we get all the information, because they could have been their best friend. It might not be like the situation we had, what was a year ago, when they was out at the beach in Mexico, when you know for a fact what that was. That was just a hatred situation when they got the girl in the room, in the hotel room, and beat her up till she died and just left her there. I think it was in Mexico, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was spring break in Cancun.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't want to assume anything about these kids or whatever, because all of it's tragic, because if all these kids end up like going to prison behind this because they ended up doing something, that's 4 lives lost. That's 3 young people, and that's 4, one passed, and then 3 other people might spend the rest of their life in prison. And it's all tragic, just like the whole thing with Carmelo Anthony and the whole thing with with those guys. And you know what I mean? Like, you know, the one guy lost his life. He lost his life for the next 30 years. It's all tragic at the end of the day. Absolutely. And I think sometimes people get so caught up in who's guilty and who innocent, but then we don't look at the fact that these are young lives that we keep losing off of senseless situations. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you know, and that's what just hearing about it, and again, not trying to debate anybody outside of our conversation and anything that we're saying. It's just a tragedy, you know, and it's just you got to stop, and you just got to say. But one thing about it, man, and people don't really want to realize it, is when you put young people, water and boats and all that stuff together, and a lot of times it just doesn't come out. There's, you know, and you know, and you talk about that. I've been like really dialed into that whole Murdoch murders in South Carolina, with the attorney, you know, allegedly, you know, killing his wife and his son, and young people in boats and around water, and you know, and if there's alcohol involved, you know, most of the time it may not turn out well. So just appreciate you guys' comments and how you're feeling about that.
You know what I need to send you, Coach, before Jacob go? I need to send you the video. I was watching the documentary on Alicia Watts. It just happened to pop up on my YouTube page a couple of days ago. You know, remember Alicia Watts, right? The young lady who her boyfriend murdered her in Charlotte. Like, she was from Pinehurst area. She went to go visit him in Charlotte, and they found the body out there. Because it was funny, because I seen a couple of family members. I seen Tessie and Lyrian. I seen that they was on. Even my mama was somewhere in the background. You know, that was crazy. My mama was like, "Ain't that your mama?" You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? Like, my mama was out there, because I guess they was doing like a before they had found the body, they was doing, you know, when they was doing the search and stuff, and they was all on the news and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna send you that video so you can watch it, so you can see the full story of what happened in that
Yeah,
situation.
appreciate that. Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, go ahead, Jacob. You got something?
Yeah, man, I got some I can, man. Now, we getting close to this home run derby, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Brian Schultz from from the Phillies, who has
Mm-hmm.
33 home runs right now. He's the fastest Philadelphia Philly to get to 33 home runs in one season. Faster than even Pete Rose. But you also got I think his name Bryce Booton and I think is Ben Johnson. Both of them have one of them have 24 home runs and one of them have 25 in. And so if you've been keeping up with any baseball, man, what do you think about the state of baseball right now? And do you think that this guy that's already got 33 can hit them numbers like Sammy Sosa or Jose Canseco or any of them guys or even Barry Bonds as far breaking their single season record?
You can go ahead. You go first, Coach.
That's a great question, and I think it may be possible. Number one, when he's in the rotation and he can play, and again, when I say in the rotation, you know how it is. I mean, baseball plays over 100 games, and if he stays healthy and he's eager to get that to go after that record, why not? Just make sure you day to day, and then also I think it's going to depend on how well the team is doing. Because if the team starts slipping, and the only thing he's trying to do is go to long ball instead of putting the ball in play, I think it has a lot to do with it. But the state of baseball, I think with them speeding the game up, it's a little bit better. I think a lot of times baseball gets a bad rap because people, oh man, the game takes too long. Well, first, I'm a baseball guy. I enjoy baseball, but again, I have to be in the mood to watch it. Just because it's not action packed, and it's a thinking man's game, and not saying that all sports has to be a thinking man's game, but I'm an American League guy. I don't like pitchers batting. I'm a DHer, and I've always been an American League fan just because, again, the speed of the game. But there's things I think that could help the game. But the state of baseball is I think it's solid, guaranteed that money, and I just hope my Yankees can pull it out. They had a great weekend here in the nation's capital, but I think baseball is sitting pretty good in the current state.
Well, let me say this. It's kind of funny how people say baseball is slow, and if you ever play baseball, it's very intense. But soccer is the most exciting thing on the planet, and they only score, and they can go the whole game and not even score, and people say, "Oh, what a great game!"
Absolutely.
It blows my mind, or whatever. I just can't picture myself sitting there for 3 hours watching men running down the field and they don't score no points. I just can't do it. I don't got ADHD, but I'm probably borderline there because the way I am sometimes. So I know I don't have the patience for that. But anyway, get back to baseball. I would say this, and it's funny because how in football they say that football done got softer and basketball done got softer or whatever, but they never really criticized baseball for this one thing. If you notice back in our era in the day, your ace pitchers pitch 8-9 innings. These, if you want to call their soft version of baseball, most of your starters only go like 6 innings. You know what I'm saying now? And then they put a middle reliever in, and then they put in the closer. So are you as a hitter, are you really truly going against the best pitcher in most cases? Because it's only maybe about 5 teams probably who have great middle relievers and great closers. You know what I mean? Even in the history of baseball, the teams that always won had great closers. So you only had maybe 5 or 6 great closers at a time in a season. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, in a given team. So at the end of the day, we could discuss it in that right. But I do agree with you that the game has gotten a lot is better because they've sped the game up to a certain degree. I wish us as black people, wish more of us would be playing the game so I could relate and have like a really, really favorite player that looked like us. You know, I like Showtime. I like Otani. You know what I'm saying, and a couple other players and Mookie Betts and players like that. But I think Mookie Betts is probably, you know, when it comes to somebody we can relate to, is probably my, I guess, somebody I relate to the most. That's why I really don't really get into baseball until about playoff season, because you can feel the intensity pick up and every pitch matters. Like, and you know what I'm saying? And then you may see a pitcher go longer, a starting pitcher, and you know, whatever. And then you see the closer strategically put in at certain times, you know what I mean, or whatever. So in that regard, then, you know, I would say, yeah, baseball has, I ain't necessarily gotten better. I just think it was a needed change for them to be able to keep up with football and basketball. You know what I mean? Some of the changes they did make, or
Yeah,
whatever. But yeah, that's how.
but but I do want to add, man. People don't look at it, but baseball players' body take a lot as well. Playing 162 games per season, that's a whole lot of games, man. That's
That's
a
a
whole
Hmm.
pile.
lot of games.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's a lot.
pile.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many of the players are, or I don't know if they low manage like basketball. I don't think they do. So I think most of the players probably play most of those games. I know they've talked about, in years past and even recently, about maybe cutting some of those games down. But I think it would be hard for them to do, just because of the fact that they pay so much money to those players, and every dollar counts as far as the revenue that they make. So they can't really reduce the games, you know what I mean? Because if you're paying a player, you know, 50, $60 million for over a 10-year contract, and you're giving them 500 million for 10 years, your top players, you know, and your middle level players getting 250 million over maybe a 10-year period. So they can't really cut those games out, because they need all that money. That's why football, the more players, the more they starting to play these quarterbacks. That's why football talking about going from now 17 games to maybe 18 games, or whatever the case may be. So, and I think they even talked about what they talked about. I think they even talked about as much as going up to 20 games at some point. College football going from 12 teams, they talked about us going up to as high as what, 24? You know what I'm saying? Teams in the tournament, you know what I mean, or whatever, in the playoffs. So, you know what I'm saying? So all this about money for them, a money grab for all them. They don't care about the player's body, what they go through, or nothing. They just all about money. You
Yep.
know what I
And
mean? So,
I think you hit a key point there. That's with the with the NCAA going. Excuse me, just dealing with some issues with my voice. But I think with the NCAA moving up and bumping up the tournament, I think that's just going to force everybody else to take a hard look at their hand. And again, it's money, right? It's just to be able to generate more money. But Jacob is exactly right. People don't realize, that baseball, man. You think about, you could you could play in a baseball game and the ball never come to you in 9 innings, right?
mm-hmm,
And you standing
mm-hmm,
out there in the wear and tear and then the travel and then day in and day out, and then you look at, not to go back in history, but you look at, a feat like Cal Ripken. I don't think that ever be broken. Nowadays when the guy walk in the locker and walk in the dugout and look and see he's a scratch for the day, he probably ain't sad. He probably gonna go there and eat 1,000 sunflower seeds and just and call it a day. But last thing I want to say on this whole baseball kick, I wish there was, a way that you could really encourage younger African American kids to get back into baseball. And it's a great game, and I don't know if it's a financial thing, just because your glove costs money and your bats cost money and all of the things that that goes into getting on the field, and then giving them a fair opportunity. Because I live in an area where you go to a high school baseball game. I know when my son played, they won the state championship his senior year. He was the only black player in the entire conference. And you walk out and you go and they say, "Oh, is that your son?" I'm like, "Oh, how'd you figure that one out?" And in that, and you look around and there's just not a lot. And then same thing with college baseball. You may have one or two, but there is just not. It's not a lot. And then of course, people of color, of course, they're coming out of the Caribbean. You think that, oh, you think that guy is black, but he's not. He grew up in the Dominican, so that may be just satisfying the quota, but I just really wish there was some just a ways that really introduce that game to the younger generation and get some excitement back just from a color standpoint.
And then, coach, I'm
Oh
I'm
yeah.
I'm I'm I'm, I'm gonna call these coaches out. I'm gonna call these high school baseball coaches out because a
Absolutely.
lot of a lot of the Afro American parents don't have money to put their kids on the traveling baseball team. It costs a lot
That's
of money,
right.
man. It costs a lot of
Absolutely it
money.
does.
So in hindsight, if you're not on the traveling team or playing on the baseball all star team, in the summer leagues, then when you go out for the team, the coaches won't even give you a second thought.
Right. Because he's already got the team even before tryouts start. You exactly. I mean, that's you ain't calling. I mean, that's fact, right? Because if you don't play that summer league travel squad and then go out, and then people say, "Oh, it doesn't make a it does make a difference." When I get out of the car and I walk into the dugout and I got my bat bag and I got a $800 bat sticking on my right side and I got a $700 bat sticking on my left side, and to go out there and I open it up, I got a $300 glove on, and I mean I don't know, man. And again, I'm not trying to bring up old news here, but I saw it firsthand with my son, and it's just like, and then I used to tell him, I put it this way: the only reason why we made it through his senior year, and I'm grateful for the movie that came out 42, because we dealt with some stuff, and he and I went one Saturday and saw that movie, and we're walking out of the movie, walking back to the car, and I said, we haven't. I said we thought we were dealing with some stuff, and when we got in the car and we went on and finished that year, and he was very instrumental for them winning the state championship. He was on the front page of the local newspaper when they won the state championship, and the front page of the sports page. But if we wouldn't have took a little step back and kind of got a breather, went and saw that movie, we might have hung it up just because we thought we were going through some stuff. But the movie 42, and I give him a shout out to, of course, to the late great Chad Bosman. But just it's a sad state of affairs when it comes to how that game is really managed and the politics that runs through that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
fellas,
I can.
uh,
I got something for Coach going. Something I
What's
what
up,
you
seen
got?
brother?
today. Hmm. In the world of the
Ooh,
Pittsburgh Steelers are looking at Brandon Ayuk.
Lord have mercy. Well, that's their MO.
you know what?
That's their MO. They love
You
they
know,
love problem. They love problem child wide
you,
receivers.
you know what?
Yeah.
I'm like this right here. I think this may be the first year I may look at the Steelers with one eye open, one eye closed, right? And when you bring Aaron Rodgers back, and I think the first pass he threw to, I'm gonna steal one of Jacob's line. I think the first completed pass he threw was to Moses, right? Right before he lifted the rod and parted the Red Sea. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, and I'm not trying to get on this whole Tomlin thing, but I mean, just for the love of Jesus, man, you can't win that. You cannot win at that level with a quarterback that just cannot move. And I'm gonna stick to that until I'm proven wrong.
I understand. I feel you. Well,
And, and
last
then and
last
then
thing.
and then I'm gonna say this before you go. So in the world of the NBA, Ben Simmons is trying to make a return.
Lord, why is this a topic?
Is he
Hey
playing for the
man, hey,
Mississippi
man, it's
Crawdads?
hey Icon. I didn't make this topic. It's been plastered on all type of sports blogs and everything else, bro.
Yeah, you just made it a topic. Yes, you just did. You just made it a topic. Yeah, yeah. Why are we
I,
even talking about this?
I
It's a waste of our time.
listen, Icon. I'm Jacob the Great. I'm just here to report the news.
Hey,
I'm just here to
well,
report the
that
news,
ain't
man.
that's not breaking news. That's broken news. That's what that
Hey,
is.
hey, hey,
You know what I'm saying?
man.
That's news broken, destroyed, shattered. You know what I'm saying?
So,
You can't put it back
so,
together. Humpty
so,
Dumpty. It's
Absolutely.
all of that.
That that
You- you-
that
oh
that
man,
dude,
oh, man.
man, that dude. When I heard that, when I saw y'all shoot that out the other day, man, I was like, you know what, that is that. That's Draymond Green on steroids 10,000. I mean, just the dude is just he's just not a winner, man. He's got too much baggage, man. That dude is just like, my God, and any team, in my opinion, any team that would say, "Oh yeah, we want to sign him," man, you be like, can you imagine a coach? You look up and this dude come walking in your locker room.
And the words are coming to America. He last time we seen him on the court, he was good and terrible. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just telling you what's been going on in sports world, man. They got the IU situation. They got the Ben Simmons situation. And Gary Payton said he think that Russell Westbrook will be a good fit for the Miami Heat. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Good Lord.
Hey, I think you know what? I see why some young people actually look at us side eye, because some of the older players just be saying any old thing. You know what I mean? Like some of the old players, like, you know what I mean? Like they just be talking out the side of their neck of some of the stuff they say sometimes that don't make no bit of sense.
No.
And so with the Ben Simmons thing, like I told Jacob, the most he might get is get an opportunity in training camp. But it's not even about his athletic ability. It's about what's between the two shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like basically, whatever they're mentally is not there, because you know because even Joe Johnson talked about it on Nightcap, how he was playing. He played pickup ball with him several times, and he said he shoot the ball like it ain't nothing, like in pickup games. But when them lights is bright, boy, that Joker boy scared it than a chicken with no doggone feathers. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm just, hey. So, all I'm saying, hey. But anyway, last topic of the night, fellas. We talked about this. It's been talked about ad nauseum, and I'm gonna say this before I say what before y'all jump in. I'm calling out Shams Charania. I'm calling out what's his name? Something Marks. I forgot Mark's first name. Calling out him. I'm calling out Brian Windhurst. And what's it, Dave McMenamin? I think that's the one. I think that's the fourth. I'm calling out them four guys. You know why I'm calling them out? Because if you don't know where LeBron is going, quit assuming. Quit throwing out fake information. Quit saying, I think it was with McMenamin? I think it was one of them that said he'll bet his life that he was going to go to Cleveland. Now, he might go to Cleveland. But every day is something different. One of them saying Philadelphia. One next day is Miami. Next day is Golden State. If you don't know, just be quiet about it. You know what I'm saying? You got all these teams. Steph made it clear he want them in Golden State. You didn't see him on at the golf tournament and everything that he playing golf with LeBron. He in his ear the whole time. Him and Draymond. So I wouldn't be surprised if he still go to Golden State. But if you don't know, just leave it alone. But I'm gonna say this: at the end of the day, I'm just gonna give you who I feel like after I thought about it all through last week. Miami Heat, to me, would be the best basketball decision. Forget all the, going home to be with family and friends and the dude at the liquor store that you knew when you was 3, when you was 10 years old going there. Forget all that. From the basketball situation is Miami Heat. The reason why, that's the one team that LeBron can basically control the game with the ball. Because Giannis is not going to be bringing the ball up the court. Bam is not going to be able to call the court. You don't have to worry about playing any kind of defense because they're going to be handling defense. Even you got Davion Mitchell from Baylor. He's going to be handling the best backcourt player. You know what I'm saying? Because of his defensive prowess. So at the end of the day, and then you got Tim Hardaway Jr. over there now, whatever, as another shooter. And they talking about they might possibly get DeMar DeRozan. So out of all the teams, Philadelphia, you don't know what's going to happen with Embiid. He might get a stomach ache and be out for 3 weeks. So we don't know with that. You know what I mean? So, and then when it comes to Golden State, I would love to see it because him and Steph, but I don't think they'll win anything. And who was the other team? The other team was Cleveland. Cleveland, we know James Harden, as soon as he get near a strip club, he forget how to play basketball. So anyway, but yeah, y'all go ahead.
Hey, I'll put it this way. Money is not a factor, right? When people, and I agree with you 100%. These guys need to pipe down wherever he goes. If he wants to go home in between games, the dude can fly. Dude can go home every night if he want to, right? So it's like, well, I don't want to. And I think and I see what Curry's doing, loading that up in his ear, spending some time, and I've seen Bron on the golf course doing his thing as well. But I just want the guy to be happy, right? I want him to be able to go and be able to load manage himself to the point to where he's not trying to play even though he probably can. But what I don't want to see, I don't want to see this guy go out with a catastrophic injury late in his career, tear his knee up, and then he's in suit clothes and then doing his tour or whatever. But I would love to see him go to where he doesn't have to be the guy, right? And I'm not saying cut his minutes down drastically because people paid those money to go see him on the court, and I know he doesn't want to go out that way, but I want him to be happy where he goes. I want the decision that he makes is best for him and his family. And as a basketball fan, just enjoy and just be grateful for the time that we've had him do his thing on that court. So I'll kick it to Jacob.
Well, man, breaking news that LeBron James is signing with the Jerusalem Crusaders. I'm
We
just
take
saying,
Ben Simmons
man.
with us.
He said, and
Yeah,
Ben
yeah,
Simmons
yeah,
too.
yeah, man. So, but I think Miami would be the best fit, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up back in Cleveland. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because I heard a story earlier. You know all these stories you hear that basically he said wherever he goes, he wants to be accepted or
Right.
whatever. So only place that for sure that he's going to be accepted is in Cleveland. I know I go to Cleveland a lot. I talk to people all the time that's from Cleveland, and they hate that he ever left. They would love to see him come back. So you know what I mean. So I would say that would be the one place that for sure, without a doubt. And I don't even think if he didn't even win, if he just came back and just played like LeBron always plays, they'll be happy just having him there to watch him play one more. Especially if just one more year, they would be happy just to watch him play one more year. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna tell you what's funny. I was at the car wash this morning, and I had my jersey on, and we was talking about it, and the guy, and I talked to him before, and he was like, man, what happened to the GOAT? So it's funny you call him the GOAT, but then you said, I said, what you mean? I said, well, as far as where he going? He said, no. He said he gave us, he's I'm a Lakers fan. He gave us 8 years. What happened to him them 8 years? I said, first of all, bro, he gave y'all a title. I said, this is I don't like y'all Laker fans. I said, he gave y'all a title, and I said for the 5 years before, for the 5 years that the last 5 years before that, y'all was the worst team in the NBA. You know that, right? Yeah, but Kobe was just mad because he was always mad and fussing because players didn't want to play. I said, hold on, y'all give LeBron all this energy, but you didn't give Kobe that same energy. But that's different. I said, Lord, here we go. I said, you know what? He started laughing at me. He said, yeah. He said, because he knew I was like, I'm not having this conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, at the end of the day, this man took y'all out of purgatory. You know what I'm saying? And put y'all back on the map. Y'all might have not have won every year that he was there, but y'all didn't miss the playoffs. I don't think nothing the whole time he was there. You know what I'm saying? At least y'all was in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Now, I'm not blaming Kobe for those 5 years. I'm just saying those 5 years that y'all had before that, y'all wasn't doing absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like it was bad. So,
Man.
but like I said, it is what it is. I'm hoping we get a decision this week. So because I'm so tired of hearing about all these so-called NBA experts think they know where LeBron is going. You know what I mean? You don't know. So just stop speculating and saying things that you think so when it happens, I miss what's his name? What's his name that just retired? What's the guy that was before Brian Windhurst? Because he would always he had his little the thing they did right doing like the NBA trade deadline. What's the guy? Y'all know what I'm talking about. He retired last year.
I can't remember.
Jacob, you know what I'm talking about? The NBA guy who was always reporting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know. I can't call his name, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I miss him because he was in most cases he was always accurate. You know what I'm saying? He was probably right 90% of the time. You know what I mean? So I think the only time he was probably ever wrong, which everybody was wrong, was probably the Kawhi Leonard situation. But he's so weird. I don't even think Kawhi Leonard know half the time where he at. He like Kanye West. I don't even know what they know where they at half the time.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be. I think he won't be with Ben Simmons in the Jerusalem. What was it? Jerusalem Cruisers. What?
Crusaders. I think you said Jerusalem Crusaders.
Yeah, the Cruise.
Well, anyway, fellas, it was a nice, another great show. I'm glad to see that that Coach landed back on land. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
sir.
I thought he's about to be out there like Tom Hanks on and Castaway here in a minute.
Oh, Wilson.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, watch when we get off here that his name gonna come to me, because right down the tip of my tongue, and I hate that I can't remember that reporter's name that retired last year, or whatever. Because every time, Woj Bombs, that's what his name, Woj Bombs. I knew it was gonna come to me.
Look at
I
him.
remember,
Look at it.
yeah,
It's all about that jersey. It's that
that judge that gave me something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because it was a guy, because I remember it used to be this guy on YouTube, and he used to be like, he gets so excited about the Woj bombs. You know what I'm saying? Woj, another Woj bomb, especially during the trade deadline or the free agency period, when Woj report who got signed and who just got traded and stuff like that. But anyway, fellas, man, like I said, another great show. For all our fans, we gonna still have guests on. So if you want to come on the show, just let us know. But we still gonna have guests. This is our low period this time of year. You know what I mean? It was a lot of moving parts and vacationing and stuff going on, and we try to respect people's times a little bit more during this time of year. But we gonna get back into it. But anyway, y'all have a great and wonderful rest of y'all week. And see y'all, God willing, and see y'all next weekend. Or later on this week or something. You never know when we might pop up. We like, we like the like Jason Voorhees. We might just pop up on you. You know what I mean?
Y'all be
All right, man. Good night.
Like,
Peace.
Good night.